one of the things that I've been really fascinated by just doing a lot of virtual meetings and being on the receiving end, right? I'm always really paying attention to how someone's trying to sell to me in a virtual platform, because of course, I'm out there teaching other people how to do it well. And what I notice is that some people get really excited and, try to really wow me with like different camera angles and they're doing cool things, or, like, well, let me switch to my whiteboard and blah, blah, blah. But they're saying the same things. There's nothing different in their approach or their messaging.
Yeah.
They're not asking me good questions. They're just trying to dazzle me with tech. And I feel like that's not, it's not an effective way of using that tool. So I'm really curious about your take on how to use the tools and the technology to differentiate, because it takes more than a second camera angle. Like, that's not gonna sell just in and of itself.
Well, certainly we could spend a whole episode just talking about green screen and how I feel about green screen. I'll summarize by going,
I get like, you almost get nauseous watching it. Like, it's like, seriously, I know you're not in a grassy field right now. Like, I know you're not hanging from that lovely cliff behind you.
Or the ones that I'm, the challenge with things like, the virtual backgrounds is that it actually is a detraction and not, it is a distraction to what you're saying.
Yes.
Right. When I'm watching you, unless you have a professional setup, unless you have a professional setup and your green screen looks the business, this is one of those things that's a massive distraction. And I don't want to go too far off on the topic of green screens, but just be aware that, like, when your hand disappears because it goes off the screen, that's a distraction. People are going to notice that, and they're not listening to your message when they're noticing that.
Yeah.
When you're, half of your head gets green screened out, they're not noticing your message. They're focused on what is happening with your face right now.
That is so true. And I think that's, we're trying so hard to be different and cool and, stand out in the sea of sameness. But if we're not consistent and true to the content, and actually it's even more than that, it's really being true to keeping our focus on serving a prospect, serving our clients. Because honestly, at the end of the day, they could care less about anything else other than what's important to them.